would be funny to be alive.
I
Not that I
think
want to like
only
live
it
in.
would only be funny if you lived in the now and then went back, I think.
Yeah. Like if it was like that one episode of Always Sunny.
Yeah,
Like
it'd be
we're
so
like we still
unserious.
yeah and like it's like in the episode of Always Sunny where like every now and then our like modern language slips out.
If you guys got sent back in time, and then to like ancient Rome, and saw a giant wooden horse pull up to like the place you're staying, are you like bursting out laughing?
The do not go in there. You know?
Like I see if I'm there, right, and I see that giant wooden horse pulling up, I am peeing myself laughing. I'm like, dude, they got no idea.
I guess I probably would be like, you guys really fell for that? Like,
Yeah,
you're like,
like
oh,
it's so strange.
here's a wooden horse.
Oh, a
Like, it's
gift!
like,
How
this thing's
marvelous!
like 12.
No questions about how it got here, who brought it, what the fuck it actually is. They're just like, oh, for
How heavy
me.
it is. Oh.
I feel like I would like pull up next to the side of it and like purposely like make hints and stuff like, oh, I wonder how many men you could fit in this. If it was
What?
taller."
Nah. What if the Trojan horse is just like made up because like the Romans were like embarrassed or the Trojans? Like
So
they were like
made up. They got fooled by a giant wooden
yeah,
horse.
no, like they just like made it in sight. Like they just broke their defenses. But then when they were reporting back, it was like, how did they break your defenses? They were supposed to be impenetrable. And it turns out they'd been like playing like Valorant or something. And they were like, oh fuck, we're gonna look like idiots. And it's like, no, we can come up with something.
It's like two guys
It's like, quick,
lying
get
on the
writing.
spot.
And he's like, oh, the wooden horse.
There's a giant wooden horse. The other guy like turns to him like, dude, what are you on about? He's like, no. There was a giant wooden horse, and there was like 100 of them like stuffed inside of it.
The general's reading it like, man, they really are strategic masters. So I never would have thought of that.
Hey, it happens to the best of us, man. Don't worry about
You
it.
know what? Yeah.
They're just too scared to admit.
If I was there, I would have done the same.
Yeah. You know what? Easy come, easy.
I love this idea that like it's two guards that were just messing around, and the Romans managed to break in because they weren't looking, and then everyone but them died, so they just made up the story of the horse.
Or maybe because like the Roman times is when they first started using like ciphers and like cryptography. So maybe they just like translated it wrong. Like maybe they got attacked by like some like Decepticon looking. Like they were like a beast of like oak and steel, and then they were like a wooden horse. What? Oh, it was as tall as 12 men. There were 12 men in the wooden horse. How did this happen? Oh.
The Trojans believed the huge wooden horse was a peace offering to their gods.
Dude, they really believe
A symbol of their victory, so they thought God gave them a fucking horse for their efforts.
Wait, no, wait. The next guy would be like, oh, it's from God.
I like the idea that the one guy who like first found the Trojan horse was like, I think it's from God, and then everyone else was like, oh, that checks out. Yep, he said
Wait.
horses.
Yeah. What if God said it, bro?
Everyone in Roman times in my head sounds like a character from The Sopranos.
Like a New Yorker?
Yeah.
Like Brooklyn?
Joey, that is the biggest load of horse shit. Like, you know, like... Oh.
Hey, I got a horse here. Adam already said this like ages ago, but like they must have been trying so hard not to laugh inside that fucking thing.
Yeah, they're all like standing
yo,
there,
yo.
and then the guy, like that one guy who like reads the note on it,
He's like giggling, he's like, Atticus, you gotta stop. But he's also trying not to laugh. He's like, no bro, they're gonna hear us.
One guy like when the Centurion who like got it was like, oh dude, it must be from God. One guy like actually like lets it like a
Yeah, he's like,
and then so funny the idea that like the guy sees the big wooden horse and he's like, well, that must be from God.
You know, the guy gets home to his like wife, and it's like, oh honey, have this today. And it's like, oh, we got this plan to like, you know, to get into the Trojans like defenses. It's like, oh, what is it, honey? And so we're gonna get in this like wooden horse. And then this is after all they've all been like in the planning room, being like, this is the greatest idea of all time. Goes home to his wife. His wife's like, you gotta be kidding. A wooden horse? And she's like laughing her ass off.
she's like, oh,
Then
that's
they like
cute.
come back like a week later, like
it's a
dude,
really
that
good
worked.
plan, okay?
It comes back a week later. It's like, dude, that went like perfectly. And the wife's like, how the fuck did that go perfectly?
What?
They bought the wooden horse.
I knew I should have married a Trojan.
I also like the idea that like they were planning on using something else, but like one of the like war generals' like cousin had accidentally made a wooden horse.
Yeah, they ordered like a battleship, and the guy delivered a horse on accident. And they're like, what do we do with this?
And then one's like, I've got an idea.
Or-
We
or-
put 12 guys.
Wait, remember the Trojans?
Trojan, like the sole Trojan survivor going to his like best friend's wife. Being like, well, what happened? How did he die? It's like, well, okay, so they had this wooden horse. She's like, what?
Okay, so
They all
there
left
was
out. It
this
happened
giant
so
wooden
fast.
horse. There was this giant wooden horse, right? And like, what the fuck?
What? Yeah, she's like crying. What the fuck?
You fell for a giant wooden horse. You thought God gave you it?
One of the survivors, and every time he's at the stables and he's looking at the horse, he's just like, fucking,
He's
God
like
damn it,
bumping them.
He's like,
He's like,
be a guy.
stupid.
Yeah,
He's hitting
the
his
guy who,
head
like,
on
let them
the.
in the gate must have like real like trauma. like survivor's
God.
guilt, you know.
He's at the gate. He's got. I've got a delivery of horses here. No, we don't do that anymore. No.
Do not take horse deliveries anymore.
Every time that guy like receives like a Amazon delivery, his like mom gives him shit like, oh, who's at the door, honey?
Is it a horse?
Is it a horse?
What's she delivering? Are you sure?
What if
Do you think they like started on it and then they were having second thoughts like, oh god, but they're like too far in. They're like, we gotta see it through.
they thought it was a funny joke, but like after like 2 months they put in too much work to back out. So they're like, oh, I guess we.
I don't think the horse thing's gonna work.
They put like their weakest soldiers in the horse. All of them come back alive. They're like, what the fuck?
Guy's in the horse, his head in his hands, like, oh, and he's like, dude, we're in. He's like, for real? Yo, wait.
When they get back, they've already started work on like the mass grave for all those in the horse. They're like,
They get back.
You guys are alive? They're like,
They get back. They're like, yo, can I see my grave? Can I see my grave?
it's like fine, we'll do the horse thing, but on one condition. You, the guy who came up with the idea, have to be in the horse too. And he's like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. They're like, oh, we're gonna get rid of that.
I was kind of hoping you were gonna say that.
he comes back alive, and they're like, dude, you're alive? He's like, guys, I've got a great idea. What about
What about a big
giant
whale?
wooden turtle?
yeah. Never see it coming.
He just keeps pitching different giant wooden animals.
And then like the next week, the Trojans like with like a really shitty like horse.
Yeah.
Like see, you can clearly see
They
the
go
guys
back-
on the inside.
They go
And they're
back
like,
to
"Oh, we don't think so.
they go back. They go back to the Greeks with their own horse, and they're like, they just don't open the gate. They're there for like 3 days. Just-
One of them gets out the horse, puts on like.
They knock on the door.
Guys, what's this big wooden horse doing here?
They're like, go knock on the door again.
Get their attention quick. No one cares.
They're watching it happen. They're like,
Maybe he didn't hear you. Knock again.
they get another delivery, right? They open the door, they let that one, they just close it again. They don't take it in.
They don't even notice it.
One of the guys has to come out and then like pretend like he's never seen the horse. He's like, he knocks on the door. He's like, "Whoa, guys!
Guys, have you
this
seen
massive
this?"
wooden horse outside?"
Just gaslighting what are you talking about, man?
what wooden horse? He's like, "That one right there." He's like, "Which one? The one filled with Romans." I mean.
Eventually the Trojans like break. They just like get at the horse and they're in like the middle of nowhere. Like, the Greeks like relocated them.
Oh my no! Yeah, they wait for the Trojans to fall asleep and then move the horse back into like Trojan.
Yeah. They put it back and
They put it back in their own bag. They jump out and start like murdering people.
they put it outside the gates of
like,
Trojan.
You're my wife.
They put it outside the gates of Trojan. They're like, oh, they're back. They let it in, and then they all jump in and start attacking their own. Like,
One of the guys kills his own wife, and he's like, "Oh my
Wait a
God!
minute.
Stop, we went back."
wait a minute, that's my neighbor.
I know this.
What's he doing in Greece?
I love the idea. It's the same guy who let the horse in both times.
Yeah. He fucks everything up again for the second time.
And then they were like, "We'll give you one more chance.
Oh.
You better not do it." And then he lets like the second horse in because he's just like, "Oh, it's our troops.
Oh my
They came
God.
back now." And then
Everyone's like, fuck this guy.
So
They like
their defense,
exile
they've been
him.
in this horse for like 6 weeks. They didn't know what was going on.
Dude, they exile him and he's like, I gotta go around on foot now. They're like, we'll give you a horse. He's like, never mind.
I'm not taking
I'm
any
good.
more. Oh God. Why is that like one of the best bits ever? Just these.
And then
Trojans
the
being, like,
next day-
absolutely stupid.
Greece send them like a little like tiny toy wooden horse. It's like an inch tall. Just to mock them. And then a soldier leaps over that.